Fine, thank you. You know, this is probably the best place in New York City for omelets. They're fabulous. Well, they're almost as good as those at Mère Poula's. That's a little restaurant in Normandy. I go there whenever I'm in France. That man sitting over there is Lester Boyd, sitting with a pretty girl. He's a newspaper reporter, and a darn good one. Dedicated, sincere, honest. And as far as I'm concerned, he only has one fault. He honestly believes that the pen is mightier than the sword. My idealism doesn't go quite that far. Today, you have to fight nuclear fission with... Well, I'm sure you get what I mean. Oh, excuse me. Hello, Lester. Good luck with the telecast tonight. I'll be watching.
Well, thanks. Simon, I'd like you to meet the girl I'm going to marry. Darling, this is the famous, or infamous, Simon Templar. And therefore, tonight, I go on record. I accuse Nat Grindell, the quietly spoken, very distinguished, but completely corrupt boss of the International Livermen's Union, of extortion, fraud, embezzlement, larceny, blackmail, and murder. How then did Grindell get where he is? Because a long time ago, he discovered that election by democratic process was nowhere near as effective as election by bribery, or by the simple expedient of a bullet in the back of an opposing candidate. Here, then, is my portrait of Nat Grindell. 15 arrests, 7 indictments, but no convictions. Why? Because witnesses either vanish or die. On my show tomorrow night, I'll give you facts and figures. I'll prove to you that Nat Grindell has taken the trust placed in him by thousands of hard-working union members and perverted them to his own personal end.
How much has he got on you, Nat?
Quite a lot.
You don't seem very worried.
I'm not. In exactly 30 minutes, Lester Boyd will be dead.
And on behalf of the New York Evening Herald, this is Lester Boyd saying thank you for watching and good night.
Okay, Mr. Boyd.
Well, honey, how'd it do?
You really want us to tell you?
Well, I want Jenny to tell me. Good or bad?
Good for the Herald. Bad for Grindell. And worse for you.
What have you been telling her, Fernick?
Listen, Boyd, Grindell is dangerous. If you think he's just going to sit back while you put a noose around his neck, you're either a fool or a nut. Leave it to the police. We'll pin something on him sooner or later.
Oh, sure. But how soon? Or more to the point, how late? Listen, Fernick. You too, Jenny. I'm no fool and I'm no hero either. I know Grindell will try to destroy me before I've had the chance to destroy him. But the fact is, I'm the only guy who can expose him, smoke him out in the open. And as scared as I am, oh yes, I'm scared, all right. I got to go through with it. I can't quit now. I just can't.
All right, Boyd. It's your neck. I'll give you all the police protection I can. I'll wait for you outside.
Thanks, Frank.
What for? It's my job, isn't it? Oh, and Boyd.
Yes?
Good luck, anyway.
Come on, honey. It'll be all right, I promise. Oh, darling, it'll be over in a couple of days.
Over for whom? You or Grindell?
I know how you feel, Jenny, but...
Do you, Lester? Do you really know how I feel? Do you know that I'm scared sick with worry over what might happen to you? To us? Lester, I don't care what Grindell is or what he's done. All I care about is our life together.
Jenny, I love you.
Then please. Lester, you heard what Fernac said. Leave Grandel to the police. Please.
It's getting late, and I got an article to write.
Boyd's behind schedule.
Relax, will you?
Ricky should have phoned by now.
He'll phone.
Yeah?
I think he's just arriving at his apartment now. Yes, it is. I call you back.
My boys will go up with you and give your apartment the once-over and then stay outside the door for the rest of the night, okay?
Fine, thanks. Look after her, Fernie.
Hello?
Won't be long now, boss. About 30 seconds at the most.
Come on, I'll take you home. No! Stay here. I mean it now. You stay here.
Oh, no. No.
Did you hear that, boss?
Yeah. I heard it. Mr. Lester Boyd is no longer with us.
Just clearing out the dead men, boss.
Well, that's very thoughtful of you, Hoppy. That one's not very dead, is it?
It ain't?
Why, it's hardly been injured.
How about that? I guess I made a mistake.
I guess you did, Hoppy. Now you can just go put them back. Every one of them. And in future, I will make the tea.
Okay. Try to do a guy a favor, and what happens? Just because you want to sling a few empty bottles in the garbage, he thinks you got an inferior motive.
Ulterior, Hoppy.
Yeah, that too. Anyone to think I wasn't to be trusted. Well, nobody's perfect, boss. Hey, you ain't sore at me.
No, Hoppy, I'm not sore at you. Now, how about rustling out some hot coffee, huh?
Okay, boss. As soon as I put the bottles back. What's the matter, boss?
Lester Boyd's dead.
No.
Blown to bits by a bomb in his apartment. Poor Jenny. It's pretty obvious who did it.
It is?
The man he was gunning for, Nat Grindell.
And why don't the cops haul this guy in?
Because he has 10 lawyers keeping his murders legal.
And what are you gonna do, boss?
He'll take over where Lester Boyd left off. Hello, New York Evening Herald. This is Simon Templar. I'd like to speak to the editor, please.
Mr. Templar, do you know Victor Reisel?
Not personally, I know of him.
He's one of the best reporters New York's ever produced. A few years ago, he got acid flung in his face for trying to do just the same thing. Now, Lester Boyd is blown to bits. And you want to take over where he left off?
That's the general idea.
Why?
Maybe I'm a frustrated reporter.
Maybe you hate Grandell's guts just as much as I do.
Mr. Clinton, is it a deal or isn't it?
I don't know. You know, you have the reputation of being a man who takes the law into his own hands. Now, I don't like that.
Meaning that you don't think that I'm convinced that the pen is mightier than the sword?
Well, are you?
No.
Now, personally, I think if you put a bullet into Grandell's back, you'd be doing the country a favor. Only that's not what I want. Now, I'm running a newspaper. I'll go along with anything you like to write. I'll even risk a libel suit. Only I don't want any violence, understand?
Perfectly.
Will you give me your word of honor that you won't physically attack Grandell in any way at all?
Absolutely.
Okay, welcome to the staff of the New York Evening Herald.
Thanks. Now, where can I get hold of background stuff on Grindell? Boyd's notes.
You can't.
Why not?
Boyd's files were burned. The explosion set fire to his apartment.
Well, could you keep that a secret? In fact, could you run a news item saying just the opposite? The Boyd's material is safe in my hands.
Well, yeah, I think we could do that. Only take it easy, Templar. I'd hate to run your first byline in the obituary column.
I wouldn't like it either.
Anything else I can do for you?
No, that's all. I'll be seeing you.
Yes, Mr. Clinton.
Call the television studio and have them run some station breaks.
Saying what?
The Lester Boyd Show goes on the air tonight as usual. Same time, same subject, only with Simon Templar in the chair.
Templar? Isn't he the one they call?
That's it. The Saint.
Gee, boss, you on television. Why, you could become a big star. Another Jack Benny, another Bob Hope. Hey, another Mr. Jelly Wobbly.
Mr. Who?
Mr. Jelly Wobbly. He's a big fat old guy who does a kid show. Well, he's my favorite.
Hoppy, with all due respect, it's just not me. You understand?
Oh, yeah, sure, boss.
Now, if I hear another peep out of you before I finish this script... John Henry, you arrived just in time. I'm short of background stuff on Nat Grindell.
Just what do you think you're up to? He's gonna be on television tonight, Lieutenant. Got his own show. That I know. What I don't know is why. All right, Templar, what's your angle?
Same as yours, I guess. The same as Lester Boyd's.
Yeah, well, you get this straight. If anyone's going to get Grindell, it'll be me, us, the police. And we will get him in time, Templar, but we'll do it legally. Now, I'm warning you, I know that you like to fight fire with fire, but if you step 1 inch out of line on this, I'll nail you right into the ground. Understand?
Yes, sir.
I hope you do, because if anything happens to Grindell, and I mean anything, I'll know where to come. Here.
5 minutes to go, everyone. Let's have a little quiet. Come on, settle down now, please. Do you mind? We're on the air in 5 minutes.
Okay, Templar, let's go.
You heard what the man said, Furnack. We're on the air in 5 minutes.
Not tonight, you're not. You're under arrest
Oh, on what charge?
for the attempted murder of Nat Grindell. All right, Templar. You can talk as much as you like, but tonight somebody took a shot at Grindell, and you're the only man in the picture with enough nerve to do it.
John Henry, you're wrong. In the first place, I don't shoot people down in the street, not even creeps like Grindell. And in the second place, if I did stoop so low, I wouldn't miss. And in the third place, that kind of setup is just not me. It's too crude. It lacks finesse. Hoppy, you know me pretty well. Wouldn't you swear unequivocally that I'm incapable of an assassination attempt, displaying so little artistic integrity?
Oh, I wouldn't say that, boss. Why not? I don't know what it means. One thing I haven't told you. We've got your gun.
What?
I found it myself on the sidewalk opposite Grindell's apartment.
You're sure it's mine?
Don't you have a permit for a Beretta 32?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we've got. Records are checking the registration numbers right now.
Which will be listed under my name.
Well, if it isn't, you'll have my most abject apology.
Furnack, when I start making that kind of mistake, you won't have to come and arrest me. I'll come down to HQ and give myself up.
Call for Inspector Furnack.
Here. Furnack. Yes. Okay. Thanks.
Bad news?
The gun isn't yours.
Oh, John Henry. How about that abject apology?
Drop dead. Come on, boys.
You'll make captain of detectives yet?
You may be off the hook at the moment, but what I said earlier still goes. One step out of line, and you'll get it.
Yes, sir. Oh, John Henry. As a matter of interest, whose gun was it?
Lester Boyd's.
Well, what about it, Mr. Templar?
Fine.
Ricky, you're absolutely certain you didn't see who fired that shot?
Yes.
You didn't see anybody at all?
No, nobody.
I didn't see anything either.
Do you ever? I know I have enemies. What man in my position hasn't?
Helps to know their names, though, don't it, Nat? Otherwise, you get scared.
Werner, you're thinking again. That's not what I keep you around for.
Good evening. I'm here tonight because the man who should be sitting in this chair is dead. As you know, a few minutes after last night's program came off the air, Lester Boyd was blown to bits by a bomb planted in his apartment. A fine man and a fine reporter was brutally murdered for speaking the truth about Nat Grindell, boss of the International Liveryman's Union, who has now added another murder to his long list of crimes against his own union members and against the state. Grindell, if you're watching this, there's something I want you to know.
Shut up.
Lester Boyd may be dead, but his voice still lives on in these notes. The detailed records of your crimes.
Turn it off.
And your sordid private life. Organized labor...
I thought Boyd's records were burnt.
So did I.
This is another job for the engineer.
Gee, boss, you was great. You really was great.
Yeah, thanks, Hoppy. You've said that before.
Sure was a big night. Sort of night for a celebration, know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I get the message, Hoppy. You feel that tonight's birth of a great new television personality warrants a baptism in alcohol, right?
Oh, no, boss. I just think we should open a bottle.
Go ahead, Hoppy.
Oh, thanks, boss.
But just one glass, mind. Just one glass. We've got work to do tonight.
Oh, sure, boss. Just one.
Now, what we have to do, Hoppy, is figure out our next move. You know, Hoppy, the ways of the ungodly are fairly predictable. And if Grandel jumps away, I think he will, it won't be long until we have a visitor. Thanks. The only way Grandel will be tied to that bombing is if someone backs him up against a wall and beats a confession out of him, which the judge would throw out anyway. Well, cheers.
Cheers. Well, like you said, boss, just one glass.
That's a glass.
Oh, gee, don't be like that, boss. This has been a big night.
Hold it. Someone at the door.
So why don't he ring the bell?
It's Grandel's next move. An ambassador on a mission of bad will. Jenny.
Mr. Templar, I have to talk to you.
Well, take your hand off the doorbell and come on in.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Call Dr. Grant. The number's on the pad. Tell him to hurry. Well, Dr. Grant, how is she?
Oh, she'll be all right. It's not as bad as you thought.
Gee, Doc, that's great.
Can I fix you a drink? You must be tired.
I am tired of a lot of things.
What did that mean?
Who applied the compress?
I did.
Very neat job. Do you mind telling me about this?
About half an hour ago, the doorbell rang. I answered it. It was Jenny. She passed out in my arms.
You know her well?
Not well exactly. I only met her once.
You realize I'll have to report this to the police.
I know the routine, Doctor, but in this case, I'd be grateful if you didn't. Unless you want to send your patient to jail. You see, until yesterday, Jenny Hallam was engaged to Lester Boyd.
Mr. Boyd?
You knew him?
I knew of him. I admired him very much.
I guess you know how he died.
Yes. I read the papers. Somebody planted a bomb in his apartment.
Nat Grandel.
Can you prove it?
No. Oh, he doesn't do anything personally. He hasn't got the guts, but he was behind it. Oh, I know it. The police know it. That's why, to avenge the murder of the man she loved, this poor kid took the law into her own hands. And earlier tonight tried to kill Grandel. In the shooting, she got a bullet herself.
Well, I'll drop by again in the morning.
Doctor, nobody respects the ethics of the medical profession more than I do, but in this...
I'm afraid we won't be able to move her for a couple of days, but you know how it is with pneumonia.
Thanks.
Good night, Simon.
Good night, Doc.
Boss, we should ought to get another doctor fast.
Well, why, Hoppy?
Pneumonia. He must be crazy. Even a vet would know better than that.
Hoppy, you missed the point. The doctor was obliquely trying to pass on the information that... Skip it, Hoppy. Right now, the important thing is to get a line on Grandel's next move. If he has issued an order for my execution, I'd like to know how, where, and when.
So how do you find out?
Oh, it's simple, Hoppy. After a good night's sleep, I shall go see Grandel and ask him.
Oh, yeah. I never thought of that. Ask him. Ask him.
And while I fully appreciate the wonderful work your charity is doing for underprivileged children, I regret that the funds of the Liverymen's Union are far too slender for us to make any donation of... Ricky!
See, Mr. Grendel, I get it.
Whoever it is, I'm busy. All right. I regret that the funds of the Liverymen's Union are far too slender for us to make any donation at the present time. Yours, etc., etc.
Mr. Grendel, he forced his way in here. I tried to tell him you're busy.
Beat it.
He twists my arm. Before I know what happened,
I
he pushed
said
me in
beat
here.
it. Okay, Ricky, you can go. And we're not to be disturbed.
Okay, boss.
Well, Templar, let's have it. What do you want?
Merely to see how the other half live. The rotten half.
I don't understand you, Templar. What's behind this crusade of yours? What's your angle?
I've no angle, Nat. I just happen to hate phonies and frauds. Union bosses who exploit their members.
You talk like a mixed-up Boy Scout.
You are a parasite and an extortionist. You've had dozens of men beaten up by your hired thugs just because they tried to vote you out and get a decent, honest union boss in your place. Lester Boyd might have cut you down to size, but you had him blown to bits.
Prove it.
I can't. Neither can the police, so I'm going to finish you off myself.
You really think so?
I have Lester Boyd's files.
Then why don't you use them?
I don't want to put you out of your misery too quickly, Nat. I want you to sweat for a few days. Lie awake for a few nights. Ah, but you've come a long way, haven't you, Nat? Too bad you didn't acquire a little honesty along with all the culture.
Be careful, that's valuable.
Giuseppe Acromboldo. Court sculptor to the Habsburgs, 1562 to 1567, right?
As it happens, yes.
Just for the record, how much did it cost?
A lot of money.
Meaning a lot of union dues.
That's none of your business. I said be careful.
Would be a crime to destroy it, wouldn't it? But not quite such a crime as destroying a man because he told the truth about you.
Put that down and get out of here. You maniac! You destructive maniac! I paid $3,000 for that.
You were taken. It's a fake. It was a copy done in Rome by Alfredo Romani. Otherwise, I wouldn't have broken it. Well, what are you going to do now, Ned? Call the police and charge me with assault and malicious damage? Or call your lawyer and sue me? It'll be your word against mine.
I've had to fight dirty before, Templar, and I will again. A man has to get from where I started to where I am now. If you want power, you've got to take it. You've got to command it until it does what you want it to do. You know what this union of mine is? A bunch of thick-headed cretins who aren't worth 60 cents a week. Well, I've gotten them $2.85 an hour, and they should lick my boots for it.
I'll quote you on that.
You can do what you like. But you're number one on my list now, Templar, and you're going to regret it.
But beating me up won't be enough, will it? I have to be killed. I wonder how you'll do it. Probably end up by farming out the job as usual. Because you don't have the guts to kill anyone yourself, even if he was trussed up like a mummy. Well, I'll leave you to brood about it. But don't brood about it too long, because I may drop by in a day or two and smash something genuine. Anytime you're feeling particularly brave, and you have a few husky friends with you, don't waste time looking for me. I'm in the book, East 73rd Street. Like I said, Nat, You don't have the guts to squeeze the trigger.
I keep telling you, for a stiff jaw, ointment of chamomile.
Yeah, well, never mind about that. I want you to do something about Simon Templar.
Oh? Like Boyd, perhaps? Or do you want to do something different?
Well, Herman, for personal reasons, I want to pull the trigger myself on this one. Can you fix anything that'll operate by radio?
Nathan, you are asking for the very latest idea I am working on. A couple of days ago, a fellow comes into my shop with a model airplane that he wants me to repair. And it is radio controlled, so he can fly 2 miles away. So naturally, I find out where he gets it, and I put it in stock.
How long will it take to work? This can't wait for weeks while you're experimenting.
No experimenting is necessary. I would not talk to you about something I could not make work. You come to my shop tomorrow, and I give you the demonstration. Don't forget, ointment of chamomile.
Hi, Doc. How is she?
Fine, under the circumstances.
Where's, The boss? On the terrace.
Hi, Doc.
You a ham radio operator?
No, not really. How's Jenny?
Nearly as good as new. She can go home tomorrow.
Good. By the way, will you send me the bill for this?
There isn't any bill. I like Lester Boyd, too.
Oh, that's very decent of you.
Forget it. By the way, she'd like to see you.
Well, fine.
Don't stay too long. She's still pretty weak.
5 minutes. Hoppy, you see the doctor out?
Sure, boss.
Goodbye, Doc, and thanks for everything.
You're welcome.
Hey, Doc. Mind if I say something?
Of course not.
Well, Jenny ain't got pneumonia. Honest. She got a slug through her shoulder.
You know, I thought there was something wrong with my diagnosis all along. A bullet, you say?
Yeah.
Well, that's life. Mistakes will happen.
I'm sorry to cause you so much trouble, Mr. Temper. I couldn't think of any place else to go.
Forget it, Jenny. I'm glad to have you here.
Poor Lester. You know, it wasn't till he was killed that I really understood what he'd been trying to do. Why he felt he just had to go on fighting Nat Grindell.
Grindell's brand of evil always seems remote, until it affects you personally.
And when it did affect me personally, all Lester had said suddenly came home to me. I know what I did was wrong, Mr. Temper, but I was nearly crazy. I couldn't help it.
I know you couldn't.
Isn't there anybody who can stop this man? Or does he just go on killing people?
Jenny, sooner or later, the ungodly get what they deserve.
But when? And how?
Don't you worry about it now. The important thing is that you get better. And if you're a good girl, you can go home tomorrow.
Getting better doesn't seem very important.
Maybe not now, but it will.
I've known Lester all my life. The Boyds moved next door to us when I was 9. I guess I fell in love with him on the spot. Know something?
What?
I'd never been out with anybody else.
Never?
It was always Lester and me. All through school, he carried my books, helped me with English. It was the same way at college. Parties, dances, formals. I just don't think I'll be able to face it without him.
Yes, you will, Jenny. You've too much courage to quit.
How does it work, Herman?
Oh, it's beautiful, Nathan, and so simple. This is the transmitter, and this, the detonator. I show you. First, I put in a little smoke powder. And then the detonator. And lastly, a little packing. Ah, this is so interesting, I would almost do it for nothing. Only that would be unprofessional. Catch. Place it anywhere in the room, Ricky. Anywhere.
Well, come on, Ricky. It's only a can of smoke powder.
Now, that is the bomb in Simon Templar's apartment. This is you in your apartment. First, you check the frequency for absolute accuracy. And then, when you are ready...
This had better work, Herman.
It will. There you see, Nathan. As always, it works.
Good. Very good. The only trouble is that after what happened to Boyd, it's going to be hard to plant a bomb in Templar's apartment without his knowing it.
What if your men planted two bombs? One that Templar was meant to find, and the other...
Maybe. But it'll have to be a real bomb.
It would be a waste. But then...
Make two, Herman. How soon can you have them ready?
Well, let me see. If I start early in the morning, maybe I finish at 6 o'clock.
What's the matter with starting tonight?
Tonight is impossible. Tonight is Wednesday.
So it's Wednesday, so what?
It is choir practice. I play the organ.
Telephone company. Your phone's out of order.
Who says?
Well, we do, sir.
Wait a minute. It was okay an hour ago, now it's dead. Okay, come on in.
Any extensions?
Yeah, two. One in the bedroom, I'll show you. Yeah, there's another extension in the kitchen.
Nothing here, Ed. Must be a fault on the outside line. We'll check the cable. Sorry to have bothered you, sir.
No bother.
We'll have it fixed in a few minutes.
Thanks.
Figure you got away with it?
Boss, it was a cinch. We cut the wire before we went into Templar's apartment, spliced it together after we left. It's the easiest 200 bucks we ever earned, right, Ed?
Right.
When do you think you're going to use it, boss?
Tonight, as soon as the engineer delivers the transmitter.
Hey, boss, what gives? You've been fiddling with that thing for the last 2 days.
Hoppy, a fiddle a day keeps the mortician away.
Oh, no. You got it wrong, boss. It's, an apple a day, keeps the doctor away.
Yeah, Hoppy. Now, tell me more about those telephone repairmen.
Boss, nobody fools me, you know that. They got identification, the lot. The works. And the phone really was dead. I tried it. But they was only here maybe 3-4 minutes. Then they said it was the cable outside, maybe. So they went out and must have fixed it, because the next thing I know, the phone works fine. Hey, boss. You think maybe they wasn't the genuine article?
About as genuine as a Japanese diplomat the day before Pearl Harbor.
My husband, Bert, was a loyal member of Local 188 in Buffalo for over 20 years. Yours sincerely, Mrs. Grace Jensen. Well,
And she wants $100 for that?
my dear girl, it's genuine Yin dynasty.
So,
So it's worth at least 1,000, maybe 1,500. Mrs. Grace Jensen, 76 Wellington Avenue, Buffalo, New York. Dear Mrs. Jensen, I am indeed saddened to hear that the widow of Bert Jensen, whom I knew well, is in financial difficulties. Be right with you, Herman.
There is no hurry, Nathan.
Financial difficulties.
You
While
plug
the
this in
blaze you
somewhere.
sent me is only a poor copy of the genuine Yin dynasty, I will be only too glad to help you out. I enclose my personal check for $100. Yours fraternally, make that 150. Yours fraternally, et cetera, et cetera.
a real sport, aren't you, Nat? With widows yet.
Well, where are you going?
A movie.
Stay here.
I don't feel like being around you very much, Nat. And I certainly don't want to watch that.
Now, don't get me sore, Verna. I might kick you out. Just remember, you don't look like you did 9 years ago.
You want to know something? You and that Yin dynasty got plenty in common, too.
Dumb little broad. Come on, Herman, does it work?
Of course. That is, if your men did their job properly.
Ah, it was a cinch. One hidden under the table where he couldn't fail to find it. The other one's behind his television set.
Oh, it's lovely.
Where did you say you found it?
Under that table.
Presented by Nat Grindell.
And compliments of the engineer.
Well, we can always trace this.
Have you ever been able to tie anything to him that way?
No, but there's always a first time.
Oh, supposing you are lucky. You think you'll get Ubalash to talk? He'll never say who hired him. Just on a point of pig-headed Prussian pride, you couldn't open his mouth with red-hot crowbars. And if you think otherwise, you're kidding yourself.
We've got to keep trying.
For how long?
Till we get them. Legally.
Isn't it an ancient legal doctrine that if anyone injures himself in an attempt to commit a crime, it's strictly his own fault? Well, for instance, suppose we were standing on the edge of a cliff, and suppose you try to push me over. I step to one side. You fall instead. No court in the country could blame me for not standing still and letting you push me.
Is there any charge for your lecture on legal technicalities?
All right, let's look at it this way. Right now, tonight, Grandel is fooling around with a remote control device that would have exploded that and blown me to bits.
How do you know?
I heard it on the radio. This one. It's tuned into a shortwave transmitter I planted in Grendel's apartment.
And how did you manage that?
Oh, it wasn't difficult. I planted it in a vase while Grendel was busy picking up the pieces of one of his favorite antiques.
Oh, very neat. Very neat.
Well, here goes.
Hello, Nat. Yes, I was expecting to hear from you.
Do you remember telling me that I wouldn't have the guts to kill you myself?
Yes, I remember.
Well, I just wanted you to know how wrong you were before you died.
Nat, I'm giving you a fair warning. Don't do it. Don't try it.
It's too late, Saint. It's too late to beg.
Don't try it. I found the other bomb. Don't do it, Nat. Don't do it. You're making the biggest mistake of your life. Don't try it. I found the other bomb. And so, thanks to Lester Boyd, a sad and grisly chapter in the history of American labor has come to a close. I sincerely hope that what I have told you about the late Nat Grendel will not be taken in any way as an attack upon those honest union leaders whose heroic efforts have done so much to eliminate unfair employment practice. Thank you, and good night.
Gee, boss, you were sensational.
Thanks, Hoppy. What'd you think, Jenny?
I think Lester would be happy.
Thank you.
Simon, you risked your life. I'm terribly grateful.
Oh, Jenny, there wasn't any danger. I found 2 bombs. You see, I was supposed to feel so smug about finding the first, I wouldn't bother looking for the second.
Yeah, they couldn't fool you, boss. He planted the other one in Grendel's apartment.
Yes, in a Yin Dynasty vase. It would never have exploded if Grendel hadn't pressed the button. Well, I got the idea from Shakespeare. You remember the line about the engineer hoist with his own petard?